A wedding tiara is far more than mere ornamentation. For the royal family, it is an inviolable relic, a gleaming symbol of continuity and history, frozen in platinum and diamonds. But what happens when a bride entering this storied lineage dares to defy tradition? What if she demands to rewrite history itself, to refashion a cherished treasure to her own liking? While newspapers gushed over Meghan Markle's elegant appearance, whispers behind palace walls hinted at a scandal that could forever alter perceptions of her. Is it true that the Duchess of Sussex insisted on altering Queen Mary's tiara, replacing its historic central stone? Today, we will unravel where fact ends and myth begins. We will endeavor to understand, was this precious relic truly modified, and if so, at what cost? To its jewelry value, its historical integrity, and perhaps on a personal level. To truly grasp the story of this tiara, we must transport ourselves back to the 1930s, a pivotal decade of the 20th century. It was an era defined by contrasts, a time of elegant Art Deco style, the effervescent pulse of jazz and rapid transformation, yet also a period shadowed by the ominous premonition of a looming global tempest. Jewelry fashion was shedding the opulence and ornate flourishes of previous decades, embracing instead clean lines, rigorous geometry, and functional beauty. Grand, stately diadems gave way to lighter, more delicate bandeau tiaras, worn low on the forehead almost like a headband, bestowing upon the wearer a daring and contemporary flourish. At the heart of this narrative stands one of the most pivotal figures in the annals of British royal jewellery, Queen Mary of Teck, grandmother to Elizabeth II. She was not merely a custodian, she was a passionate collector and, more crucially, a visionary reformer. Queen Mary embraced change, and with impeccable taste, she breathed new life into antique jewels, orchestrating them to resonate harmoniously with the dawning era. For her, these treasures were not static artifacts frozen in time. They were living, pliable material ripe for creative reimagining. The story of our tiara begins long before its actual creation, back in 1893. It was then, as Princess Mary of Teck, that she married the future King George V. Among her wedding gifts was a magnificent brooch from the County of Lincoln, a classic piece for its era, featuring a central sapphire encircled by 9 sizable diamonds. For nearly 40 years, this brooch resided in her jewelry box, a tangible memento of that momentous occasion. Then, in 1932, Queen Mary made a decisive choice. The times had shifted, and her sentimental Victorian brooch was destined for a fresh, more contemporary reincarnation. Her vision was both audacious and elegant, not merely to craft a new tiara, but to make the venerable brooch its very heart, the central jewel around which the entire design would be meticulously constructed. This transformation was meant to serve as a bridge between past and present, a gleaming testament to both respect for tradition and an openness to innovation. To bring such a delicate undertaking to life, only the crème de la crème would suffice. The commission was entrusted to the esteemed jewellery house of Garrard, a name synonymous with unparalleled quality and impeccable taste. As official crown jewelers since 1843, Garrard's artisans possessed an unmatched understanding of how to handle historical relics. Their mission was to craft for the Queen not merely a fashionable accessory, but a masterpiece worthy of the royal treasury. For a moment, let us set aside its illustrious owners and regard the tiara itself as a standalone work of art. What unfolds before us is the very quintessence of Art Deco style, a dazzling anthem to geometric purity and understated opulence. This is no ponderous crown designed to overwhelm with its grandeur. Instead, it is a light, almost ethereal adornment, conceived to enhance, rather than overshadow, the beauty of its wearer. The tiara's foundation is a flexible band, or bandeau, meticulously crafted from platinum. The choice of this metal was far from arbitrary. It was in the early 20th century that platinum, with its cool, aristocratic luster, exceptional strength, and remarkable lightness, supplanted gold and silver in the high jewelry fashion of the elite. It enabled the creation of the most delicate settings, which seemed to vanish, leaving only the dazzling brilliance of the stones themselves visible. Garrard's master artisans assembled the bandeau from 11 movable sections, a true marvel of engineering. This ingenious construction meant the tiara did not rest heavily upon the head. Instead, it gracefully contoured, akin to a ribbon woven from light, adapting fluidly to every motion. Each of these 11 segments is encrusted with old-cut diamonds in a pavé setting. This isn't merely a scattering of stones, it's a continuous, shimmering tapestry where the metal is virtually undetectable. Jewelers painstakingly worked to create the illusion of a single river of diamonds, where each stone catches and reflects the light, transforming the tiara into an unbroken cascade of fire. The intricate geometric pattern, alternating oval and square elements, creates a rhythm and depth that keeps the eye captivated. But the heart of the composition, its profound visual and thematic core, is, of course, that very brooch from 1893. It attaches to the center of the bandeau and can be removed, a versatile transformer piece beloved by Queen Mary for its practicality. In its original form, the brooch showcased a large, deep blue sapphire encircled by a halo of 9 magnificent diamonds. This striking contrast between the cool fire of the diamonds and the velvety depth of the sapphire created a powerful dramatic effect, drawing all eyes to its captivating beauty. Imagine for a moment holding it in your hands. You would feel its pleasing, substantial, yet not oppressive weight, the heft of history and noble metal. Touching it, you would sense the cool platinum and the smooth facets of its polished stones. And if you held it up to the light, it would erupt in 1,000 icy sparks, with only a single, mysterious blue fire burning at its very center. This ornament was designed not for bright daylight, but for the flickering glow of candles and electric lamps in grand ballrooms, where it could truly unveil its magic. This is not merely a collection of precious stones and metal. It is a perfectly calibrated symphony of lines, light, and shadow. Queen Mary's tiara stands as a monument to its era, a time of elegance, bold design choices, and a profound respect for the past that could and should be woven into the fabric of the present. Contrary to what one might expect, the tiara's first public appearance wasn't a grand event heralded by every newspaper. Its debut was quiet, almost intimate, and in this lay its particular charm and, simultaneously, its quiet drama. Queen Mary's jewelry boxes in the 1930s were veritable oceans of sparkle. Following the Russian Revolution and economic upheavals across Europe, treasures from deposed dynasties flooded the market, and the Queen, with her keen eye and ample means, became the owner of truly legendary jewels, including renowned Russian imperial tiaras. Against the backdrop of these magnificent masterpieces, imbued with tragic history, the new, understated bandeau tiara seemed almost modest, too restrained. Its graceful geometry and cool shimmer were an exquisite whisper amidst the booming chorus of diamonds and pearls from the Romanovs. Queen Mary undoubtedly appreciated Garrard's impeccable taste and craftsmanship, but for official state occasions, where the full might and immutability of the British Empire needed to be displayed, she opted for more imposing and historically significant diadems. Consequently, the new tiara did not become her go-to for public outings. It was, rather, a personal treasure, an adornment for family dinners or informal evenings when elegance was desired without excessive pomp. This is precisely why so few photographs of Queen Mary wearing this particular piece have come down to us. Its initial triumph wasn't in the adoring gazes of courtiers or the flashes of cameras, but in the personal satisfaction of its owner, who had received precisely what she envisioned, a perfect embodiment of the spirit of the age, both modern and timeless. This tiara became a reflection of another facet of the Queen's personality, not the formidable empress, but a woman of refined, progressive taste, an admirer of clean lines and functional design. It did not become a symbol of her status, but rather a symbol of her style. The piece was duly appreciated by its owner, but did not achieve widespread renown among her contemporaries. Thus, almost immediately after its creation, this masterpiece drifted into a long slumber. It wasn't forgotten. It simply took its place in the royal vaults, yielding the stage to more celebrated and substantial counterparts. Its shining moment, its true resounding triumph, was yet to come. The tiara seemed to await its time and its heroine, who, nearly a century later, would reintroduce it to the world in an entirely new light. 86 years. For almost a century, this tiara slumbered in the velvet darkness of royal vaults. Passed down from Queen Mary to her daughter-in-law, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and then to her granddaughter, Elizabeth II, it never once appeared in public. The sleeping beauty of platinum and diamonds awaited its moment, and it arrived in 2018 as the world prepared for the wedding of Prince Harry and American actress Meghan Markle. This was the moment that heralded the tiara's true golden age. Choosing an adornment for a royal bride is never simply a matter of aesthetics. It is always a political and symbolic statement. And the choice fell precisely on this seemingly forgotten relic. The decision, made personally by Queen Elizabeth II, was an act of brilliant foresight. While the press speculated about Meghan's rumored desire for more lavish and vibrant emerald diadems, the Queen offered her a piece that was not a flashy declaration of wealth, but a sophisticated whisper of impeccable taste and a deep appreciation for history. And so, the day arrived. May 19th, 2018. When Meghan Markle emerged from the car at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, the world held its breath. She wore a simple, almost austere Givenchy gown, and against this clean canvas, the tiara shimmered with unimaginable brilliance. It didn't compete with the ensemble. It completed it, becoming the final perfect chord of the entire look. Secured in her sleek updo, it held in place her 16-foot veil, embroidered with the floral symbols of all 53 Commonwealth nations. In that moment, the tiara transcended mere ornamentation. It became a bridge between eras and cultures. A relic crafted for the ruling monarch's grandmother crowned the head of an American actress of mixed race, entering one of the world's oldest monarchies. Its austere, then modern Art Deco design surprisingly aligned perfectly with Meghan's own image, a woman who was modern, independent, and challenging norms. Billions of people worldwide watched the broadcast. For them, this tiara was not one of many. It instantly became Meghan Markle's wedding tiara. In a single day, from an obscure artifact, it transformed into an icon, a symbol of one of the 21st century's most talked about weddings. It wasn't a talisman Meghan would wear constantly, but it became her singular and most significant jewelry calling card in the history of the British royal family. It was her only outing, yet it proved so powerful that it forever etched both her and the tiara into the annals of fashion and history. The radiant image of the bride on her wedding day is merely a facade, meticulously constructed for the public. But behind the scenes of the royal court, in the hushed palace corridors, this tiara's story took on a darker, scandalous dimension that continues to stir minds and spark debate. The narrative, dubbed Tiara Gate by the press, began long before Meghan walked down the aisle. According to sources close to the couple and Prince Harry's own memoirs, the choice of Queen Mary's tiara was neither the first nor a voluntary one. Meghan Markle had initially set her heart on a stunning Kokoshnik tiara featuring large emeralds. However, this choice was reportedly blocked by the palace. The official reason cited was the strained political relations between Great Britain and Russia, and the tiara had distinct Russian motifs. For Meghan, This was the first sting, which became even more painful when, just a few months later, the very same tiara was worn without objection by Princess Eugenie, the Queen's granddaughter, at her own wedding. An even bolder legend whispers that Meghan sought to borrow the iconic Vladimir tiara, a particular favorite of Queen Elizabeth II herself. The word on the street was a polite but firm refusal. A bride entering the British royal family should be adorned with a national treasure, not a relic stained by the tragic history of the Romanovs. Whether this is fact or fiction, we may never unearth the truth of this tale, but these anecdotes fertilize the soil for burgeoning rumors of discord. But the true bombshell, the most audacious shadow stretching across the relic's storied past, isn't tied to choice, but to a whispered transformation. Whispers grew insistent that Meghan, striving for perfect synergy with her pristine white gown, secured permission from the Queen herself for a temporary swap, the historic sapphire in the central brooch for a substantial diamond from the royal collection. No official confirmation ever materialized, yet jewelry experts remain locked in fierce debate, poring over wedding photographs under a microscope, searching for definitive proof. The mere notion that such a venerable artifact, a relic painstakingly crafted for Queen Mary, could be modified to suit the caprice of a new royal daughter-in-law struck many as an act of unprecedented defiance. From this tangled web of whispers and supposed skirmishes bloomed the most ominous myth, that a supposedly irate queen, weary of demands and whims, quietly but firmly forbade Meghan from wearing tiaras after the wedding. Many believed this to be a silent yet eloquent rebuke, stripping her of one of the most potent symbols of royal belonging. As is often the way of things, however, the stark reality likely proved far more mundane. In truth, her brief tenure of royal duties and the subsequent exodus of the Sussexes to America simply didn't furnish Meghan with opportunities to wear tiaras, glittering accessories reserved exclusively for the most formal state events. Yet, where there's smoke, there's often fire, and these persistent whispers, debates, and scandals have permanently etched themselves into the tiara's narrative, elevating it from a mere adornment to a potent symbol of cultural friction and dashed hopes. The resplendent image of a bride on her wedding day is often just a carefully curated facade, meticulously crafted for public consumption. Yet, behind the gilded velvet ropes of the royal court, amidst the hushed whispers of palace corridors, this tiara's story took a darker, more scandalous turn, one that continues to captivate minds and fuel fervent debate. This narrative, famously dubbed Tiara Gate by the press, began its unraveling long before Meghan even stepped foot down the aisle. According to confidants of the couple and Prince Harry's own candid memoirs, the Queen Mary tiara was far from Meghan's first choice, nor was it a voluntary one. Initially, Meghan Markle had set her heart on a breathtaking Kokoshnik-style tiara, ablaze with magnificent emeralds. However, palace officials reportedly nixed this selection. The official rationale given was the fraught political climate between Great Britain and Russia, with the tiara's pronounced Russian motifs being a key concern. For Meghan, this was the first sharp sting, one that intensified months later when Princess Eugenie, the Queen's granddaughter, donned that very same tiara for her own wedding without a hint of resistance. However, as is often the case, the plain truth likely proved far more prosaic. In reality, Meghan's brief span of royal duties and the subsequent departure of the Sussexes for America simply didn't present her with occasions to don tiaras, glittering attributes reserved exclusively for the most official state functions. But where there's smoke, there's always a fire, and these whispered conversations, fierce debates, and swirling scandals have forever etched themselves into the tiara's narrative, transforming it from a mere ornament into a powerful emblem of cultural clashes and dreams left unfulfilled. The era of this tiara adorning Meghan Markle was dazzlingly bright, but deafeningly short. Its conclusion wasn't marked by high-stakes auctions or a ceremonial passing down through generations. Instead, it arrived quietly, almost imperceptibly to the broader public, as the inevitable consequence of one of the most dramatic cleavages in modern royal history: the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's decision to step back from their official duties. This pivotal moment, colloquially dubbed Megxit, became the demarcation line that forever severed Meghan from the royal treasure chests. The tiara's return to the vault was far more than a mere logistical formality. It was an act brimming with symbolism. The very ornament that, on her wedding day, had served as a shimmering bridge connecting the new Duchess to centuries of monarchical heritage, now became an emblem of a broken bond. The atmosphere of this farewell was steeped not so much in the sadness of parting with a beautiful object, but in the bitter taste of unrealized hopes and the quiet closing chapter of a fairy tale that the entire world had followed with bated breath. After its singular yet triumphant public appearance, the tiara once again retreated into its familiar life in the shadows. It returned to the highly guarded repositories of Buckingham Palace, transforming from the planet's most talked-about piece of jewelry back into a mere inventory number in the vast catalogue of royal gems. For a time, absurd rumors even circulated in the press, suggesting Meghan had spirited the relic away to America with the intention of selling it. But such a notion was impossible. The tiara was not a personal gift. It was a loan from the crown. And the crown's treasures belong not to an individual, but to the institution itself, their fate governed by the strictest protocols. Thus, this brief but vivid chapter drew to a close. The heavy door of the royal vault swung shut, and Queen Mary's bandeau tiara once again found itself enveloped in velvet silence, nestled alongside other precious relics, awaiting its next grand entrance onto the world stage. For the tiara, it was a return home. For the world, it was a silent confirmation that the era of the Duchess of Sussex as a working member of the royal family had definitively and irrevocably concluded. While the tiara physically receded into the vault's darkness, its true second birth actually occurred at the very moment of its disappearance from the public eye. It re-emerged on the stage, not on a velvet cushion in a museum display, but into digital immortality, into the collective memory of billions of people. The 2018 wedding wasn't just a debut for the tiara. It was a point of no return, after which it transcended being merely an historic ornament and transmuted into a cultural phenomenon. A complete reinterpretation of its essence had taken place. Before that day, it was an artifact for a select circle of historians and jewelry connoisseurs, Queen Mary's bandeau tiara, 1932. Afterward, it forever became Meghan Markle's wedding tiara. Its new narrative became inextricably woven with the personality and the poignant drama of its last wearer. Now, gazing upon it, the world sees not only the elegance of Art Deco, but also a story of love, a rupture with tradition, scandals, and aspirations. It has absorbed all the resonance of contemporary history, becoming its silent, diamond-studded witness. And this, precisely, is what elevated its value to an unattainable height. We are no longer speaking of carats or the cost of platinum. Its historical worth has multiplied tenfold. This is no longer simply a relic from the era of King George V. It is a key artifact in the story of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, a poignant symbol of one of the most turbulent periods in the recent history of the British monarchy. Any future auction, were it even conceivable, would ignite a frenzy comparable to the bidding wars for the treasures of Wallis Simpson or Princess Diana. This fervor is only intensified by its current inaccessibility. Its second birth is the birth of a legend that grows stronger the more rarely we glimpse its original. It has become embedded in our global cultural DNA, a symbol of a modern fairy tale with a complex and captivating finale. The world holds its breath, anticipating its next appearance. Who, and for what occasion, will dare to wear it next? Will it signal reconciliation, or a definitive affirmation of a new order? Every future sighting of this tiara will now be meticulously scrutinized, invariably compared to that singular outing of Meghan Markle. Its triumphant return to the stage has occurred, and now it graces the stage of world history, a play whose final act remains unwritten. Today, Queen Mary's bandeau tiara resides where a treasure of such eminence rightfully belongs, within the hallowed sanctuary of the British monarchy, in highly secured vaults where time itself seems to stand still. It isn't displayed in the Tower of London for public admiration, like the principal coronation regalia, nor is it part of any public museum collection. It belongs to the monarch's personal collection of jewels, an heirloom passed down from ruler to ruler. Its true custodian is the very eternity of the British crown. Its status has irrevocably changed. Having experienced its moment in the sun, the tiara has completed its metamorphosis from an elegant yet relatively obscure accessory into an invaluable historical artifact. It is no longer merely a piece of jewelry that a future bride or princess might select for a grand occasion. Its story has become too loud, too emblematic. Any future appearance on anyone else will instantly unleash an avalanche of comparisons and interpretations. It has become a relic, not only of the Art Deco era, but also of the Sussex era, and this indelible trail will forever cling to it. Attempting to appraise its current monetary worth is an almost futile endeavor, as any financial valuation would be but a pale shadow of its true significance. Its price is layered. The first layer is its material value: platinum of the highest purity, diamonds of impeccable clarity, and the masterful craftsmanship of the Garrard jewelry house. The second, more substantial layer is its royal provenance, crafted for Queen Mary, owned by Queen Elizabeth II. But the most critical factor, exponentially boosting its value, is its recent history. Its connection to the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, one of the most media-saturated events in history, has transformed its cultural capital into something immeasurable. It has become a symbol, and symbols of such magnitude command sums at global auctions that defy market logic. Today, it is, without exaggeration, one of the most historically valuable jewels within the British royal collection.